Hi Quiltytube, I hope all's well. My name is Kirsty, Crafting Kirsty here on YouTube and also on Instagram. It is Thursday the 10th of July 2025 and I'm back with a quilting update. It's been about 6 months since my last video, which is a tad bit longer than I had originally planned or hoped for. But there we go. No real reason why, just haven't got around to it. I haven't done huge amounts of quilting. I've done quite a bit of shopping because I've been to 3 quilt shows. But I have got stuff to show and stuff to talk about. So I hope you will join me. We are in a new location from where I normally film my videos. So we're in the sitting room here and I am behind my sewing table in my little corner of where I'm allowed to sit and sew in the evenings or during the days as well. And the first thing you'll see is this behind me. Now this came up, so we'll initially talk about this bit here. So I put this up in January. It's curtain rail, and this is a very thin, I don't know what sort of fabric it is, curtain from Dunelm, and I'm basically using it, as you can see, as a project board. I've wanted a project board for absolutely ages. I think they're great, useful things. However, I didn't want a solid structure that either had to be wheeled out or in or out. As I said, I could have a craft room. I don't. I prefer to be in here and do it. And so I wanted something that essentially, Christmas time, the Christmas tree goes over in that corner. This can be taken down. The curtain rail can stay up because it's right up at the top. I might hang a Christmas quilt from it. You never know. Stranger things might happen. Or it'll really be as unnoticeable as possible. So literally curtain rail from B&Q and a very cheap but quite long, very thin, so very lightweight curtain from Dunelm, I think. And on it you'll see my Jane Austen quilt, or my part of my Jane Austen quilt. So since I last saw you, I've actually done I've only done another 6 blocks. So this block, and then I will show you the 2 down at the bottom in a minute. This is the Jane Austen coverlet, and hang on, let me just get the book if I can find it really quickly. And here we go. So Jane Austen's quilt from Rosalie Clark, and this, I bought this pattern, well, booklet pattern, pre-COVID. This lady's in Australia, and she, at the time, she had permission to sort of work out, chart and sell the pattern for the Jane Austen coverlet. There is now a kit, I don't know how many sort of around, available from, I don't know who. That's useful, isn't it? I don't know if there are any, and I don't know if there are anywhere you can get them from. Which essentially has a range of Jane Austen inspired fabrics in it. And the outer border, this big outer border, is all 1-inch diamonds. And in the kit, that is a cheetah cloth. It's it's just printed with 1-inch diamonds on it. I, however, am hand piecing mine because I'm a bit mad like that. English paper piecing, I have talked about this a lot before. This here is supposed to be a nice big print of fabric. You won't see it very well. It's just a big sort of bouquet of flowers. Very difficult to find fabrics with that size pattern on it anymore. So I think I'm going to have to applique a block there. Hence the fact it's still bare, because I'm not particularly looking forward to that. Well, I'm not looking forward to it, but it's very central, so it's either going to make or break the quilt. So yes, I'm just going to bend you down a little bit so you can see the bottom bit. So excuse me, I couldn't get it all in frame. So we go down. So those are the last 2 bits I've done there. That one and that one. But yeah, so it's all very symmetrical, similar. Within the chart, oh, you're wobbling a bit, sorry about that. Within the chart, you're told where to place the blocks and all the rest of it. So the next section for me now is to cut out based a whole load more diamonds, and then I think, hang on, let me find my piece of paper if I can. So one really easily obvious somewhere to find. I think I'm now on to, yes I am, so the next row will basically be the top of the centre, but there's not full triangles, or it's not a full diamond shape. So yeah, so the next section, next thing I need to do is cut out a whole more shapes so I can start sewing them together. So anyway, that is the progress on my Jane Austen quilt so far. Right, I made, around Christmas time, I've got a bee in my bonnet that I would like to make a table topper, Christmas style table topper. I bought a pattern which I no longer have. I think I bought it off Etsy. I mean, there's 101 million like it. If you're desperate to know which this pattern is, I will try and hunt back and find it. And so I ended up making this. So it's essentially a Christmas tree with gold star at the top, red border. This is a sort of green, well, I've got green mistletoe fabric, and then this is just a sort of a beigey flowery. But I thought it all looks quite good. So my issue with this is somewhere, I think somewhere up here in the top, I have managed to mess up a bias side somewhere. I don't know how, but if I lay this out, oh, here it is somewhere. This section will not, for however much I iron it, it will not flatten out. I have taken strips off, re-sewn them, done everything I could, and I couldn't get it to lie flat. Now, obviously, I haven't quilted it, sandwiched it and quilted it. I will have another look at it later to see if I think I will be able to just quilt the bump out of it or not. But the other issue I had was this was going to go on the coffee table in the middle of our sitting room. And of course, it's a very directional piece. So it's then, well, which way do you point the tree? Because then I didn't think it was fair to the other people sitting around the side of the table that weren't going to be at the bottom of the tree. So yeah, it just didn't work. So I might well try and quilt it and just hang it up as a wall hanging. I might just quilt it and let the dog have it as a bit of a dog's bed over Christmas time, because, you know, it's his Christmas too. But yeah, so this was a bit of a failure for something that I actually quite enjoyed making. I was a big girl and I started cutting into some of my really nice fabrics. And having used some of my really nice fabrics, I then messed it up somehow. Yeah, so that is something I have achieved that isn't actually all that successful, but I will do something with it. I just got a bit fed up with it towards the end of it. So I went to the Newark Quilt Show in January, which is really good. It's quite a small show, but you normally get a couple of big stalls there, and you know, you get quite a few stalls. And with it being January, it's quite nice to sort of after Christmas get out and start buying stuff. And then I went to the Newmarket Quilt Show. So the Newmarket Quilt Show is to replace the Duxford Quilt Show. And I have to say it was much, much bigger. I mean, I like Duxford, but Newmarket, it was on the July racecourse, much bigger, a lot more stalls. Yeah, it was really, really good. It was very, you know, it's pleasing because there's one company that runs a lot of the shows that I go to. And I think post-COVID, I don't know, but I think they were struggling a little bit. And stall numbers seemed to be down and, you know, everything seemed to be a bit down. Whereas going to Newmarket, it really, yeah, it was a really good show with a lot of stalls. So hopefully things are turning the corner and moving back up. Anyway, I didn't really go with a huge plan of stuff to buy, but I bought stuff anyway, as you do. So I have been watching From Small Things, a Quiltytube From Small Things. And she does a lot of scrap quilts, a lot of hand quilting. and it's more hand quilting than anything that has inspired me. I have hand quilted one quilt in the past, and I did really enjoy it. And having watched hers, I thought, yes, I really want to have another hand quilted project. And at Newmarket there was a stall. It didn't really have a name because I think the lady used to make up kits. It's all very vague. The lady used to make up kits for somebody. She now has finished doing that, so she was selling off all the leftover stock. I didn't realise quite how much of a discount it was until I'd bought this, and I would have bought more. But anyway, so I found this fabric that I really, really loved, and it is, let me get it out, fold it over so it's not quite. So it is, and is there a self? There is a selvage. I'll look for that in a minute. Let me show you the fabric first. So, oh, it's upside down, typical. Get it the right way up might help. You can see the beauty that is this fabric. Look at that. So it is just this red and cream, birds, big flowers, berries, just, oh, it's so pretty, so pretty. Oh, here we go, here's salvage. Wyndham Fabrics, Williamsburg Centennial Collection, 1780 to 1880 by Wyndham Fabrics. So I bought about 5 meters to make a whole cloth quilt. Now, whole cloth quilt would traditionally be a lot less patterned, and everything would be about the quilting and the design that you do within the quilting. I, however, so I'm two magpies. Oh, sorry, I can see straight out of my window into the garden, and there's a single magpie, but actually I can see a second one, so I don't have to do the suite. If you know, you know. So this will not be so much about the quilting, making the quilt. This is a lovely, lovely fabric, and I am just going to hand quilt it, probably cross-hatch quilt, because I don't want to take too much away, obviously, from the design. Over this autumn, it's just going to be a project I'm looking forward to doing. I had to join the 2 bits of fabric, which I've never really done before. I'm not a curtain maker. So I did take this with me to our Quilty Week when we went to Northampton when I went to Northampton with friends from my local quilting groups. Unfortunately, a lot of them are far more experienced than I am, and I laid this out because we have this huge conference room. It's just such a good place. We have this huge conference room with lots of floor space and lots of table space, and so I laid this out on the floor, and so I'm just going to join it together. And a couple of the ladies jumped up and went, "No, you've got to pattern match, you've got to do this, you've got to do that." So they showed me how to do it. It did take the better part of an afternoon, but I have managed, now where's the centre section? Here we go. So I have just about, you can see my seam is there. So from a distance, all is good. Up close, I am slightly off, and it gets a little bit worse, I think, the further you go down. So when I first did it, I put them right sides together, and then I pinned, I sort of worked out how far in I wanted to be to pattern match, and I pinned to pattern match all the way down. And as I opened it back out, or as I sort of half opened it, spot on, it was perfect, it was looking really good. And then essentially I had to open the top half out so I had the pattern in front of me to then just baste down this seam. But because I put the pins in, I couldn't open it out flat enough. So I had to take, I can't remember now because it's a little while ago now, but I remember at the end of it, I did think I wouldn't do it again like that. I think I took the pins out and ended up folding over on one side for my pattern repeat, and then pinning it from the top and then sewing. And I did think I'd lost a little bit of my perfect join at that point. So I'm not describing this very well at all. If I ever do something like this again, I would video it. partly for me so I can actually remember what I think I would do next time, but also, you know, because it might be helpful to somebody. But essentially what I would do in the future is I would, with the right sides together, I would base down first of all to get that perfect pattern repeat, because then you can just open out, base down, sew down, and I think it would be. But you know, all things told, is this, again, upside down, sorry. All things told, I don't think it's too bad of a pattern match seam. It's just when you get up close and personal, it's off by a couple of millimeters. This will, I think, I will probably just put a border on this because I'm not sure it's going to be quite wide enough for our bed. So I will just put a plain red border on it, or maybe even a cream border. I will see. I haven't actually got this out of the bag since I did it whilst I was away for the week. So it might well be just about wide enough. I don't know. We'll see. But that is an autumn project, so it will be, once I have sandwiched it, it will be ready to go. And I am actually really looking forward to just sitting and slowly hand quilting that. As I said, very simple crosshatch, probably. Another project I have worked on and now finished, well, finished the top, is this. And I did post a photo of this quilt again whilst I was away at the quilting week, because I've finished all the blocks and I just laid them out. I hadn't joined them, but I just laid them out. But I was struggling with my edge triangles, struggling because I didn't know what fabric I was going to use. So this quilt, I'll show you here, it's like this. So then if I bring it up close, this section, this, so somebody did say, oh, did you embroider that? Good God, no, I did not. It is a bought fabric, but this is actually quite, it's almost, it's a bit like a canvasy sort of cotton, or just, it's a heavier linen possibly. I don't know, it's just one of those random purchases that I made, which I'm really bad about making, and I need to stop making, because I liked the pictures on it. It's pretty pictures, so I bought them. So, and I'm sure this is telling the tale of a nursery rhyme, and there is writing on it, but it's not the easiest. It's not Sing a Song of Sixpence. Whether it's Georgie Porgy Pudding, I don't know what it is. If anyone can work it out, please do. But yeah, so we've just got various, I would say sort of Victorian style-ish seams on the fabric. But it's this very sort of beige, pink, yellow, blue. So I decided, I think you've probably seen all of the different pictures now. So I decided, I was wanting to use this fabric up, didn't really know what to do with it. So flicking through my Civil War Remembered by Mary Etherington and Connie Tessine, 19 quilts using reproduction fabrics. I came across this one, which is called Brother Fought Brother. And I decided that obviously for my snowball blocks in here, I would put fussy cut and put the pictures in instead, which is what I did. I then chose fabrics from my stash to try and use some of those up. I've put some batiks in. That's actually, again, this is what takes the longest, is the choosing of the fabrics, because I spend for hours looking at my pretty fabrics, and then I decide to reorganise my pretty fabrics, and then I pull a whole load, and then I decide I don't like them, so they have to go back again. Oh my God, it just takes forever. But yes, it's there we go. if I can get a good picture of a proper. So there we go. So I had it all, as I said, I had all the blocks piece but not put together because I was then struggling to find a fabric to use for the edging triangles. And so it sat for a long time not having anything done with it. And I thought, I've really just got to finish this. So I went, and for some reason, I don't know why, I didn't pull this one out earlier. I found this fabric, which I've had for many years. I used this in the Star a Day quilt that I made hand-pieced a good many years ago now. And I had a whole section of it left over. And I thought, well, actually, that goes quite, oh, it's upside down, sorry. That goes quite nicely with the pinks and the blues. They're all quite pastel-y. But yeah, so this week when I had a quilting day, I took this with me, cut the fabrics out, and I've started putting them all together. And as you can see, they go on point. So as you put it together, you do this, then you do it in rows like this, which is the first time I've ever done it like that. And I was sort of sitting at the table, my head on one side, trying to make sure that everyone's just spin the quilt a bit. Because it's very strange putting fussy cut picture blocks in, and I had to doubly check each time as I was joining it that it was going to be going in the right direction. And it did. Yeah, and that's about it really. So I just need to trim it up because these edge pieces, corner pieces are a bit further out. Trim it up, quilt it, sandwich it. So, you know, not much left to do with that one. So I am pleased with it. I sort of got halfway through and thinking, now I've finished, I'm pleased with it. It will just be, it's just a quilt. I've used some of my material up, not a lot, but some of it. But I do love these little scenes. I might make a project bag using, because I've still got a lot of it left over, despite having fussy cut it all. And then the only other thing, and it's not really even on the go, it's just a plan in motion, is as I have been making various things, as I've got the offcuts, so my scraps left over of fabric, I have decided to make myself well, it's called a sharing thimbles quilt, but mine won't be shared because I'm only using my own fabrics. It's out of Friendship Strips and Scraps by Adita Sitar of Laundry Basket Quilts. Love this woman, love her quilts. I think she's at the Festival of Quilts this year in Birmingham. Which, if it's raining, I might get to go. I won't be able to book any classes or anything because obviously I don't know if I can go. But I might see if I can trip her up in the hallway and go, hi, I'm a big fan. Yeah, because I do think she is quite an amazing quilt designer, fabric designer, and all the rest of it. So there we go. There's a prettier picture of it. So essentially it's just a scrap quilt made of one size thimble. I have cut out my template for it. Just now thinking I can't remember where that is. I'm sure I will find it somewhere. But so far all I've been doing is as I've made some quilts, I've just cut a strip off if I've got any leftover fabrics. So these have all obviously come from this quilt that I've just shown you. So yeah, and I'm not putting them together yet because I don't want to then end up, so some of that's that sort of what will be the hand quilted quilt. I don't want to end up with sort of almost stripes of quilts going across. So because I've only just started, I've only just got those few. But that will obviously be a long-term, ongoing project. That once I've got a bit more of a selection of scraps, I will then slowly start piecing together as and when. So that is all the projects so far that I've either worked on or finished. So now we're going to go to haul. There is quite a lot of haul. As I said, I've been to 3 quilt shows, one of which was Malvern. So I talked about Newmarket. I then went to Malvern where I met up with Sian, the Periwinkle Stitcher, and Leslie Tuppence Penny. And we had a fantastic day. It was really good fun, good laugh. And yeah, I went on a bit of a buying spree. So first of all, yeah, the rest of this is basically haul. So I'll talk about my Malvern haul to start with. So the first thing I found, T Rose Quilting is to blame for this. She keeps on finding lots of lovely Halloween sort of panels and fabrics, and I do love them, so now whenever I see them I pick them up. So I found this one. So we've got, sorry, and I don't think there isn't any repeated within these 16 squares. However, there are two that are slightly similar. So the person with the hat, or the monster with the hat, there's another one that's quite similar up at the top here, I think. Did I, or was it the middle one? There, no? Oh no. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, so I've got 16 blocks. Sorry, I can't show it and not talk behind it at all. I've got 16 blocks. Absolutely love those. And to go with that, as part of the range, I only bought the one. Probably just use this as sashing. I'll just do very simple, probably just cut those up, stick a bit of sashing in between, and that will be that. Hang it up for sort of October time. So then I've got this, which is just more prints. And this is Morris Creative Group for QT Fabrics. But yeah, so that's my Halloween purchase of the year. I seem to have got into the habit rather of buying one Halloween purchase a year. So I've still got to sandwich, quilt and bind last year's Halloween project, but bought another one. I then just randomly, as in no real plans for them, picked up this. So that should be a nice border fabric. Whose is it? It is, this was on sale, so it's obviously an older one. Moda Fabrics with a squiggly name. Collection for a Cause, Preservation by squiggly name. I can't read, I'm afraid, but it's a Moda fabric. But it's very pretty. Excuse me, sniffing. I then also picked up French General, because it's French General. Joy Noel. Let me just hang this right back up. So, that way. No, that's upside down. That way. So it's just, so I can either leave it as one piece and do something with it, or I can fussy cut out the pictures and put them on something else. But yeah, so I bought 2 of those. Oh, you're wobbling. Sorry, I need to use the other table rather than that table. And then the other piece of just yardage that I bought, Henry Glass Fabrics, but the rest of it's being cut off. Oh, Farmstead. Something Farmstead. Henry Glass Fabrics. Is that? Which again is just a lovely add it to the stash fabric. I also, whilst I was there, picked up from Mazda Ouzvan France, Fine French Linen. The website is Fine French Linen. Oh, Mazda Ouzvan, I think possibly. Anyway, I saw this lady at Newmarket, and I think possibly that might have been her first show, but the stall was absolutely rammed with people. So I sort of looked and thought, yeah, I'll look at her at another show when it's quite the most gorgeous fabric. So this lady has bought the rights to a whole load of French linen designs from the man, and she's starting to have them reprinted, remade. And so I bought a queen size boudoir kilt. Sorry, you won't see it, but it's a very simple, just squares. But I've bought a fat quarter bundle to go with it. I know Sean bought one of these as well. And then Leslie bought a smaller bundle to make possibly, I think, was it a cushion or something? But anyway, let me open this out a bit. So I not put it on there because it is going to. So I'll just whiz through these because these are gorgeous. So I think at Newmarket she only had pinks and blues. When we saw her again at Malvern, I think she had introduced greens and sort of a lavender purple. Which obviously you can mix and match if you want to, but she tends to sell them, the kit she tends to sell in a colourway. So I bought the blue one this time because I do love it. It's just, oh, it's just gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And yeah, I do rather get the feeling that there will be a pink one, a green one, a lavender in my future. It's just, I love the fact that it all comes in, you know, as a pre-done kit essentially, and a really simple quilt, but just so effective. She's got them, you know, on the store behind her, and they're just lovely, just so lovely. And then I'm assuming this is my binding. Can't quite remember. And then I've got this, which is the cherub piece. I can't remember why I've got it. Can't remember because it's not in the kit, but it's just the most gorgeous. I can't remember. So Sean, if you can remember, because I think you possibly got one as well. Whether yours had this in it, I don't know. But I don't know why I've got this random piece. But I will do something with it. So yeah, so that is a future to make project. As I said, it's not the most fantastic photo, but it is just different size squares. But because the fabrics are so lovely. And then, oh dear, I also bought, so this is from Country Folk by Brenda Walker. I do buy quite a few of her little patterns. Just has slightly different things. I thought it's quite a nice Christmas decoration for using up scraps. Crazy patchwork Christmas tree. And then I bought myself a kit from, I'm sure it's Liberty Bell, they're based in Cheshire, I think. And I bought myself a falling leaves garland. Now I bought this because probably about 3 years ago, from the same shop, I signed up to a buttermilk basin monthly ornament, autumnal monthly ornament, which I was going to obviously complete and then have as a hanging garland somewhere. So to date, I've got the, now I've still got 7 more to make, which I didn't realise, because when I bought the falling leaves, I was thinking, oh, that'll inspire me to finish the couple of ornaments I've got left. I can make the falling leaves garland, put it all together, and then it'll look great, won't it? But when I've got home, I've actually got 7 more ornaments to make. So I've got to make those, and then also make the falling leaves garland. And one of these days it will all be made, all put together, and it will look really good. but it might be a little while. But I did have to laugh because I was standing at the stall saying, oh, I had a monthly ornament subscription from you and I'm going to make this to go with it. Sean, have you finished the monthly ornaments? No, obviously not. And it was just something. Oh, okay. Anyway, so that is a project that will be coming out soon. So next, so more haul. I did say it has been 6 months, and I do only tend to buy quilting stuff when I go to shows. So from the Newmarket show, there was Kaleidoscope was there, which is a big quilting sort of family-run business from up in Scotland, and they have a huge book selection. They didn't have as many books this time at Malvern, which was a bit of a shame, but they normally, and online obviously they have a big book selection, but I find I prefer to go and look and flick through. I tend to always buy a book from them when I go there. So this year I bought Patches of Scraps, again Adita Sitar laundry basket quilts. There's just some fantastic projects in here, so I'm just trying to find. So sorry, the glare on that isn't great, but you see, I mean, the middle strip, this strip here is just one fabric with a border on it, which is why I tend to buy things like this, because I think, oh, that would sit quite nicely in a quilt like that. I do have quite a lot of either border or divider fabrics. I mean, you've obviously got the quilt on the front, the baskets, which is just amazing. Quick flicks. Actually, I suppose I can show you. So you've got this one. Yeah, so I bought it. I mean, just look at that. So you've got those are flowers, but look at that. You can't see it very well. Sorry, the glare isn't great. But anyway, so I bought Pieces of Scraps by Adita Sitar. And then I was also having a moment. I bought hand-stitched quilts. Choose from 27 block designs and hand-piece your own unique quilts. Carolyn Forster, who quite often, or very frequently, has a project or something within the monthly magazine Today's Quilter that I get on subscription. And I do quite like a lot of the patterns that she does. But yes, essentially this book is all about learning how to hand piece the blocks for the quilt with lots of different round pieces, curved, all these sorts of things. And then you just choose your blocks. So you've got like a pansy block there, the front and the back, showing you how to do your seams and everything. So you never know. One of these years, I might hand piece an entire quilt. I mean, I have got one, I've certainly got the Farmer's Wife quilt, which I need to print out, which I would like to do, which is all hand piecing, hand piece blocks. But yeah, so it's just, so there we go. So, yes. That was a purchase. And then I just bought this fabric because the deliciousness of it is just too much. Couldn't leave it. And that is Genoa, designed by Fabric Freedom. Oh, there we go. Genoa. Yep, that's what you get. Oh, but it's just gorgeous. Look at the blues and purples mixed in it. Then, whilst we were away for our Quilty week, we were on the outskirts. Well, we were in Northampton, big city. We were on one side of it, and although actually I think it's Northampton town, but it's not a town. Although is it? Well, whatever, Northampton, we were there. We were on one side of it, and on the other side, you have a quilt shop called Bramble Patch, which is probably one of our nearest to us quilt shops, but it's still an hour away, which I know for Americans is nothing, but for us Brits, that's quite a long way. And so I don't go there very often, but it is a very big shop, so it is worth going to. But it's sort of shop they've got so much that you need to go with a pattern in mind, a plan, a colour scheme in mind, and then work with it. Because if you walk in and just go, oh, just pick up a bit of fabric, you want it all, because it's lovely. So yes. Anyway, we went there for a trip one morning, trip out, because it was only then 10 minutes down the road. And I ended up buying, you can see I'm sort of on my pastoral scenes era. I bought this blue fabric, which is just absolutely stunning. Now, I did buy this with a similar intention to the red and cream bird fabric of just making a entire quilt out of it and hand quilting it. However, I think this is possibly a bit busy. Hang on a minute, I'm just going to shut the door. I'm just filming. Sure. Might be you going out. There we go. Sorry, it's back for coffee time, obviously. So I'll have to hurry up. So anyway, I think this is a little bit too busy, possibly just as whole one to be hand quilted. So I did think I might break it into bigger squares so you can see the lovely pictures and put sashing on it. And then whether I hand quilt it or not, I don't know. But again, I got a big wedge of that to make it as a sort of a big. So this is Farmhouse Quilt backing by Kim Deal for Henry Glass & Co. So I think this is extra wide if I remember. But I did get quite a lot of it and oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. So it's just a case of deciding what to do with it to show it at its best. And then we're getting near the end now, thank goodness. You'll be pleased to hear. And this I am going to blame on Celeste of Celeste Creates. She has started a quilt and was showing it. And I thought, oh, I like that. So I had a look online and it comes from Quilt Designs by Laurie Smith, which is from My Heart to Your Hands. American lady, doesn't ship to the UK. However, a friend of mine in one of the quilt groups, her daughter lives in America, and she has always said, if you like something, bring it back when I go over or she comes over, let me know. Just do it in advance so it's arrived in time. So I did, and I've never taken her up on it. So I did say, would you mind if I ordered some quilt patterns and your daughter brought them over, which she very kindly did. So from My Heart to Your Hands, Quilt Designs by Laurie Smith, I picked up the Mrs. Roosevelt's album quilt, which I think is the one possibly Celeste is doing. So this is a mixture of applique and machine pieced, and then a big, I mean that could almost be there, but obviously on point and possibly a little bit smaller. But yes, so that is the sort of thing which is going to go in the middle of there when I get around to doing it. So that's Mrs. Roosevelt's album quilt. I picked up Oak Hill Farm, a sampler quilt. Now this, because everyone looks at it and goes, ah, it's not. It's a couple of blocks just on repeat in different sizes. But it does look slightly chaotic. Can't show it properly, sorry. So yes, another big whopper. Oh look, so there, I think those are the individual blocks that you then do, as I said, different sizes and then there's a couple that will be used as, fillers and whatnot. And then finally, and this was the one that really, well, actually Celeste, this Mrs. Roosevelt's album quilt sent me into the rabbit hole of her website. And then this one I absolutely love. And this is Folk Art Pleasures. This is a celebration in applique. My favourite form of quilting. Not. I am trying. I'm going to show you in a minute what I've been doing. So yes, so I have bought that and I think I will be starting that next year. So in honour of starting that next year, I have decided, because Sian is forever talking about, when she does applique, she does the Laurie Halt starch method. So I thought, right, I'm going to give that a go, because I've tried needle turn applique and it's okay, but it's not possibly, I'm sure if I practice more it would be neater, but it's not that neat at the moment. Obviously you've got the rough edge quilting, which is fine. I don't mind it, but I think I would prefer to do a turned form of some sort. And so I thought, well, I need to start practicing because obviously that's a big quilt. So, and I have got a whole load of, within this Today's Quilter magazine that comes monthly, you normally get a present, a bit like a McDonald's toy. And quite often they are sort of plastic templates for applique. So I got a few out and thought, I'll give it a go. So I started with this. That just looks like Bigfoot. It's like the abominable snowman has been here. So yeah, so it's okay. It's worked out all right. And I did think, well, I'll keep on practicing and making and I'll turn these into a project bag. But then I tried this one and, you know, again, it's okay. It does work. I like the technique. I just wasn't overly impressed with what I was making. I was using a whole load of scrap fabric and on scrap fabric, and it's never going to look that pretty, is it? So I decided to make myself a project bag. And this is quite heavy curtain material, leftover curtain material my mum gave me, which is lovely. And so onto that, I then got out, and I haven't got it with me. I'll remember to share it next time because I haven't seen them as a show stall anymore, but they do still have a website and they make the most fantastic templates, of all different shapes and sizes. And when I first saw them, I bought a teapot, the word went out of my mind, teapot and a cup and saucer. So I have made myself a teapot. This has still got the heat and wand on the back of it. It will come out. I've got a teacup, which has been fussy cut. So this is leftover from Tula Pink's Alice in Wonderland range that came out a long time ago. And there's a saucer. So on my project bag, I'm going to have a teacup, and I've got three cups and saucers. This one has got the clock in it, White Rabbit's clock. And this one has got Dodo. And then, yeah, I've just got, so it will have a teapot, tea mugs, or it might have teapot, mugs and sauce down the side. So that will be a project bag for my cross stitch, for one of my cross stitch projects. And yeah, this is just, I am now practicing my starching method for applique. And so far, so good. It's more a case of when I take the backing out to attach it down, particularly, and this is quite small and fiddly, how well that continues to stay under. But then I did make this, and then I left it, and again, I haven't brought the book with me, but years ago from Kaleidoscope, I bought this massive book, which is so like 1,000 different quilt blocks in it, or how to make 1,000 different quilt blocks. Doesn't actually give you the details, it just tells you how to do the maths to make the blocks, and this is how you divide it all up and all the rest of it. Fine, maths is not my strong point. So to date, the book has proved quite useful for holding a quilt in place if I've got it hanging over the edge of something. Put the book on it and that holds it in place whilst I'm tying it or what have you. And it was proved to be quite useful for sitting on top of these to flatten them out, to leave them so they didn't curl, because I think I put a bit too much starch on mine to begin with. So yeah, so at least I'm using the book. And I think that's about all now. I'm very aware that George and John are back and wanting coffee, and I also want a coffee. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much indeed. I will try to put some details in below, but I don't really know a lot of things. I'm afraid a lot of the stalls I don't know, they're just stalls that you see when you're there and you pick it up. But if there's anything specific, please do ask. I've been enjoying watching all the quilting videos that have come out. As I've already mentioned, T-Rose, I think Stitching is Elementary has done a couple of quilt vlogs. I think Olivia B had one out ages ago. Obviously Olivia Pumpkinholic. Well, yeah, all the usual. There aren't that many quilt tubes I personally think, out there, or certainly not dedicated ones. But yeah, I really enjoy the ones that I watch. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the summer. I hope you're enjoying the heat. We should be starting harvesting at some point soon. Take care. Bye.